here we are again in the Leichhardt series at the 8th wonder of the world.
Yeah.
And look at the beautiful day. We've got the Centurion's Lounge here looking out, on the halo turf. Sugar Ray Nosty next to me on the right.
Yeah, the council workers have been non-stop. Is that because we've been here?
Yeah, we've been here.
It's all about us.
Just hanging around. But yeah, I love being here. I love this place, and let's move it on.
And Mike Big Roy Whitney directly across from you. How's that? And this is a huge guest considering where we're at and the issues at play. So, Widow, I'll leave it to you to introduce.
Get into him.
Leichhardt Oval has been a topical subject for a while now, and we've just spoken to Junior Pearce about his connection with the ground from a player's perspective, and I didn't realise he grew up just across the road. But of course,
we should have jumped the fence.
Of course, these places have to be administered, and they're administered by the local city council. Now, I already have a relationship with the mayor because Randwick, Petersham play on Petersham Oval and on Marrickville, and they're within the Inner West Council. So it's a real pleasure to have the Mayor of the Inner West Council here. Darcy Byrne, good on you, Darcy.
Oh, yeah, how's that? On you, Darcy, thank you.
Pleasure to be here, everybody. And Wits, I do want to start by saying that the Randwick Petersham President's Lunch each year is the single best event that I go to every 12 months.
That's my man.
What would you give him out of 10 for his performance at that?
Oh, it's very entertaining.
Yeah?
A 9.5.
A freebie too,
It is. It's turned into a wonderful day for everybody to come and meet and get together, and that's the purpose. If we can make a few dollars, it's great. But Darcy always comes. Yeah. And we work with two councils. The Randwick side is the Randwick City Council, and of course the Inner West side, the Petersham Marrickville side, is Inner West Council. And, I've worked with Darcy in the last couple of years to do major renovations at Petersham Oval and keep Marrickville Oval really going. So I know he's onto this already.
Yeah.
I mean, the Petersham Oval project was a couple of years ago, and then lately it's been here. Now, we've heard what Junior has said, but for me, these grounds are just part of the social fabric, the breadth of the community, the heart and soul of the community. The history here goes back to 1934, and I just can't believe, Darcy, that there'd be even a rare possibility in the future that this ground may not exist anymore. I find it hard to compute that.
Well, we've put about $7 million into the ground over the last 5 years, but that's really to pay for basic maintenance and upkeep. We've kept the playing surface in very good nick, which is why we've been attracting more content than ever before.
It looks great.
So but that'd cost you a bit today because these blokes have been non-stop, eh?
Mate, they know the mayor's in the grandstand. What are you talking about?
I'll give you the tip. It's not too hard to convince the officers of the council that looking after Leichhardt Oval is important. Most of them are locals who grew up here.
Unreal.
So what we do need is some of the funding that's been allocated to, a fraction of the funding that's been allocated by the state government to big stadiums and to other suburban grounds to be allocated to saving Leichhardt Oval. We're really the only suburban ground that's missed out altogether, other than Campbelltown.
Sure.
So I don't know if governments generally have it in for West Tigers.
Well, that was my next question. Why is that?
Yeah, why?
It's been political. So for the last 12 years, the previous New South Wales government, you might remember, they had a stadium strategy in which they didn't want any suburban grounds.
That's right.
They said they're going to have one at Homebush, one at the football stadium, and everyone would have to move there. That wasn't popular. Eventually they backed down. They said, okay, well, we're going to save suburban grounds as well, but we're the one that has missed out. Now, we're not, I know this is not a political podcast, so I won't get into...
No, go for it.
No, you go for it. You say whatever you want.
Say whatever you want.
Then we'll edit it later.
Well, look, Dominic Perrottet, not a bad fella, said he was a Tigers fan, but he never put any money into the ground.
Yeah, because he follows the Richmond Tigers. You thought it was...
Or the New South Wales Waratahs.
That's it. Well, go on.
And so for 12 years we missed out altogether, and now we've submitted to the New South Wales Government and to the federal government a Leichhardt Oval master plan. We've been smart about it. It's modular, so we're not saying give us $100 million or nothing. We're saying for $5 million, here's what we could do. Here's what we could do for $10 million, $20 million, $50 million. And for $50 million, you could build a new northern grandstand with capacity of about an additional 3,000 seats. You could renovate the main grandstand with modern hospitality and corporate and media facilities. You could replace all of the concourse seating and, most importantly, install female-friendly change rooms because this ground's become a hub for women's sport. And we see that as a big part of the future of the ground.
Absolutely.
It's not just about West Tigers.
Yeah. Well, we're huge fans of the NRLW here, and we watch a lot of the Women's Rugby League, and it's coming so big. So that's a great idea to upgrade it in that way for sure.
How many games and how many different sports are played on the ground now?
120 separate sporting fixtures this year, which will include women's and men's rugby union, soccer and rugby league, from the school boy or girl level right through to reserve grade, first grade and international fixtures. So last year we hosted 8 of the FIFA Women's World Cup teams trained here, including the Spanish women's team had their captain's run the day before they won the World Cup. We've hosted rugby league internationals here. So it's an amazing array of sport that we're still attracting to the ground.
Yeah.
And when you compare that to, for example, Penrith Stadium, they're receiving $309 million. They only host 11 games of men's rugby league each year. Now, I admit they've got a bloody good team.
And we're not bagging that.
Yeah,
Not bagging
good luck
it,
to
but-
them.
Yeah,
you
well,
know,
that's right.
yeah.
But when you're talking, would you absolute wish be 50 million? If we get 50 million, you do everything that we needed to do to keep the ground going for, decades and decades?
Well, Junior was just saying before, it's 50 years since the AMCO Cup first came here, 50 years since the main grandstand was built.
Yeah.
If we got 50 million now, that would save the ground for another 50 years to come.
Wow.
And so
That's fantastic.
Our grandkids will still be coming along here and enjoying the incredible atmosphere.
I did hear Chris Minns, who's the Premier, say a while ago in reference to giving money to Leichhardt. He said, well, if I give money to Leichhardt, Campbelltown are going to ask for money as well. I know there's all budgetary issues and you can only put so much money.
That's a cop-out.
But that's a growth area out there too, like Southwest Sydney. If they're giving that much money to Penrith Stadium, why, that's huge out there.
This is also a sporting precinct, but the pool's there and you got open space
You've got
there.
the rowers.
And the rowers. I mean, why would you want to get rid of this in a sporting precinct?
Well, it's not getting rid of it, is it? It's just maintaining it and keeping it up to...
Right. To have that level of sport that you want to have.
Yeah, and this is never going to be a Combank stadium, right? So
No.
they spent
Don't
300
want it to
mil
be.
on rebuilding Parramatta Stadium. It's a magnificent facility.
Yeah.
Leichhardt's never going to be that. So even
Who
with
paid for that, by the way?
the New South Wales government.
Did they?
They played the whole lot, I think.
Yep.
But we're only looking for a tiny fraction of that investment to bring the the facilities up to a decent standard. And when I say that Leichhardt Oval could be closed, it's not what I want to do.
No.
Yeah.
I used to come here when I was 5 or 6 years old. My old man wanted his ashes scattered on Leichhardt Oval. But we're just being honest with people about
That's
the fact that
fantastic.
if we don't get that investment, the place is just not going to be safe for
Does
use.
it become, I was going to say that, a safety issue and all those sort of occupational health and safety things, yeah.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, the
I
platform
can't believe that.
down here at the northern end, if you haven't seen the video, you should have a look at it. It was just shocking. It collapsed during a schoolboy rugby game. And we're really lucky that no one was killed. But there were a couple of guys who were seriously injured. And that was the point when I realised that, this is not a situation that can go on indefinitely. And we're not going to put the public safety at risk.
No.
So is there a timeline, a cut-off time, where if you don't get funding by a certain time, the Tigers will pull out, or what's that timeline?
Well, I don't have control over what the Tigers choose to do, but I held a press conference here with Shane Richardson a few weeks ago, and coming from different perspectives, we're both saying the same thing. We want to keep playing at Leichhardt.
Yeah.
We want West Tigers to have a permanent home here. But if we don't get the investment soon, it's not going to be feasible.
Yep.
Yeah.
From the club's perspective, we've fought over the last 10 years to get 5 games here at Leichhardt, which is what we've got this year. So prior to that, they've been playing all over the place. 3 games at Leichhardt, 3 at Campbelltown, 3 at, or maybe 6 at Homebush.
Yes.
So we're a bit homeless.
Yeah.
And so getting the club to commit to coming back to Leichhardt has been a big win.
Yeah.
And we want to keep them here and have the games shared half between Leichhardt and Campbelltown.
And for the local community, the nightlife even, when you've got 15 to 20,000 people here at Leichhardt, the local hotels obviously do well, and the restaurants and stuff like that. So the government would have to factor that
So
in.
that's the Red Lion, the Gary Owen, the Orange Grove, the Royal.
All of those places.
The whole neighbourhood's pumping when you have a big crowd here.
It's
not just
unbelievable.
Tigers
Just the
games.
walk, just seeing the people walk up to Glover Street or to Mary's, up. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Darcy, you said if you got the maximum funding, you'd build a stand at the northern end of the ground
Yep.
and have 3,000 or 4,000 there. That'd sort of bring it to about 20,000.
Yeah.
That's a perfect size crowd for a suburban ground.
Belmore's about
Perfect.
that. Yep.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Look,
But the trouble is they'll want to build big because it'll be packed out every time, and then they'll want to go to 30. No, sir.
No.
I don't think we're going to get 2 bites of the cherry. If we get to do a
Sorry, I'm
renovation,
just
we've got to
trying-
do it once and do it well.
I got to tell you, when I was in England playing, right at the start of the season, the football season was just coming to an end, and right at the end of the cricket season, the soccer season was coming to a start. So I went to a lot of local grounds, Rochdale, Bury, and they have a cricket ground and a football ground. I'm telling you, mate, if you told anybody in Bury, and the ground in Bury is right in the middle of the town of Bury, if you said that we were taking your football ground away, because it's like they said, you go and have a pint at that pub and a pint at that pub and then 2 pints at that pub, you go to the football, you watch the soccer.
Stop at the corner shop.
Whatever, on the way home.
5
it's
pints
tradition.
deep.
Yeah, that's right.
But, you know,
But the people in Bury, I know, and the people in Littleborough where I played professional cricket for them, mate, they would never do it.
Yep.
They would never even raise it to say we're taking the footy ground down. This is the same. It's the history.
Yep.
Hallowed turf. Keith Barnes.
Yeah. And so,
Olive
but
Prattle.
it's a good oval to play.
Olive Prattle, Ray. Olive
Yeah,
Prattle.
I know. It's a great oval to play. You know what I mean? Like I said, I had my under sixes. The last year that they made that non-competitive, we won the grand final here. Do you know what I mean? We've been here. I've done march passes here. We've done everything for the North Ryde Hawks. What are you wearing today?
I'm wearing the North Ryde Hawks
Plug.
sort of
We've
jersey.
been plugging North Ryde Hawks, fair dinkum.
and
We're in the Inner West Council.
And the
remember.
band that we play in Oz Icons, we're a sponsor.
Is that on the back of that?
It's on the back.
Stop it.
So,
We're talking about Leichhardt. And we don't want to keep the man too long because he's busy.
so what else? What other things at play that you're doing to trying to get the funding happening? Is there?
What's changed over the last few weeks is there's been an overflow of emotion in which sporting fans, players, journalists have all started to come out and say, hey, come on, this is nuts.
That's why we jumped on the bandwagon.
We can't let Leichhardt Oval die.
Yeah.
And so we're in the same situation we've been for quite some time. We're fighting hard to get state and federal government funding, except now we've got an official proposal that we've put to them that they're considering, and we've got a lot of support behind us. And to have Junior down here today,
Is that
that
big one?
I think that really helps. And and there's a lot of people like him who've, it's got a special place in their heart.
Well, I spoke to Ciro, and Ciro was down here for Keith Barnes, and he said, I've got to go back up. He's up the Northern Rivers and that. He said, but if you want to give me a call...
So I think next week we could probably try and get him on the phone and add it to this Leichhardt series of podcasts and get his take on it. Yeah.
Can I just quickly say, I did some research. 828 million state-of-the-art stadium for the Roosters at the Sydney CBD.
800 and what?
28 million.
Wow. You only want 50.
How big is that sombrero? Anyway, total cost of investment of 33 million for the Seagulls, funded by the state government, federal government, and the Seagulls. What about New South Wales for Parramatta? About the stadium.
Come on,
the
stop
expansion.
embarrassing them, Ray.
Pre-existing fund of 8 million.
Don't read out any more, Ray. You're embarrassing them.
But we know you love. We know you love.
Do you
the
want me to go
Roosters.
about the Sharks and all?
List all the grounds that have received money while we've been left out in the cold.
That's it.
Yeah. That's why we've been at the bottom of the table. Right?
That's it.
Because they're going up for the top.
That's it.
Well, one of the difficult things has been, though, is every time you go out and advocate for the ground, because the Tigers have had a very rough trot over the last 12 years, you get a lot of people on social media who just go, oh, yeah, but they're a shit side, so what does it matter? And whilst that's not a very rational argument, it's a hard one to counteract.
Oh, that's right.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
But
sorry.
no. So we don't want to keep you too much longer, mate. But so we're going to publish this as the Leichhardt series and push it and keep it in the media and see how we go. And
Darcy, we're really happy to jump on board to try and promote this through our podcast. And look, I'm not a Balmain man, I'm a Rabbitohs man.
Yeah.
But it's not about that. It's about the hallowed turf and the history and what it means to the local people.
Yep.
It's part of the history around here. Lilyfield we're actually in, aren't we?
That's right.
That's right. So as that suburb, this is just part of the history. We cannot let these places go. I'm going to say it again. Minzy, get your hand in your kick,
Minzy,
brother,
what's
and
going
give us
on,
what
man?
are you
Get
doing?
them. But before we go, the museum, I'm really interested in the museum,
Yep.
man. Like, come on. What a great idea. And that's all in the master plan.
Yeah, so we're progressing with that. We don't need any state or federal government funding for that. So for people who don't know, the caretaker's cottage across the road, which is where Wayne Pearce grew up, his old man was the caretaker for the Oval. We still own that site, and we're going to convert it to a museum of Inner West Rugby League to tell the history and the stories of not just the Balmain Tigers, but West Magpies,
the Maggies,
the Newtown Jets,
Yep.
Annandale, Glebe.
Oh, man.
The Dirty Reds.
And Roy and HG are demanding that we heritage list the toilets here, and we're going to do that as well.
Please, if you don't mind, please. But I reckon it's a good setup up here. Anyway, we could talk to you for hours.
I think the big thing that's come out of today, and just the names, you got a lot of support, mate. We're all on the same board.
I appreciate that.
And we'd love to see it.
And we marched to get Souths back in the comp, so you showing the solidarity back to us
brother.
means a lot.
There you go. Thanks, Darcy.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, thanks again for your time, and guys, until next time. Ciao.
Ciao.
Yeah. See you later.